Miss Sam Cerrone. I'm your host, Sam Cerrone. A lot to talk about in the world of sports. Starting with Wimbledon. Wow. Unbelievable performance by Andy Murray. We'll get to that. In the NBA, new head coach for the Celtics. And a lot of free agency talk. Obviously, Dwight Howard is the main one. And, another center in Houston isn't really too pleased. But you know what? It happens. And let's see. We have baseball. Obviously, the All-Star Game. The lineups were selected yesterday. And we'll talk about that. And to see what is Yasiel Puig's role. Will he make it? Will he not? We'll talk about that. And a surprise in Brazil, which is, again, it's not pretty. There's a lot of people nervous in Brazil as to whether or not the World Cup will be safe. And a shocker in the Gold Cup already. That'll be my final thought for the day. But let's get right to it with the main headline of today. Andy Murray. Now, in the era where you have players like Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal, Roger Federer, they're really good players. They are the top. They're arguably three of the best all time in an era where tennis is absolutely amazing to watch, just simply because these guys are always in the finals, doing well. And then there's Andy Murray. Andy Murray is a great player, but he has not shown to be an elite player, again, to the levels of Djokovic, Federer, or Nadal. And today, what a performance by Andy Murray, becoming the first British player in 77 years to win at Wimbledon. So that says a lot to what he's able to accomplish there. I mean, you know that the crowd was behind him the whole game. I had my friend Tom watch the game. I mean, he was obviously watching it. And he was telling me it was a great match. Both were on their game. It didn't matter that Djokovic had a five-set thriller with Juan Martino Potro in the last game, in the semifinals. He was ready, but Andy Murray was better. And that's how it ended. It ended in straight sets. And like I said, Andy Murray became the first British player in 77 years to win at Wimbledon, beating number one Djokovic 6-4, 7-5, and 6-4. Now, that's pretty good. That is, you have to be on your best game ever to beat a guy like Djokovic. Again, he's number one in the world. He's been hot the last year and a half, with Nadal being injured and Federer starting to lose his A game, really. In a tournament that really had a lot of surprises. I mean, you had Nadal out early. You had Federer out early. It was pretty tough. It was pretty tough. And considering the fact that Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic have collected 30 out of the last 31 Grand Slam titles. Wow. That's saying a lot. But he's reached the finals in the last 4 major tournaments. He withdrew from the French Open because he have a bad back. And now he's a 2-time Slam champion, having defeated Djokovic in 5 sets at the U.S. Open back in September. So, where does this put Murray right now? I mean, he's on a good streak. Let's put it that way. Is he on the level of Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic yet? Probably not. But he's getting there. And, I don't know how much time he really has left to play, considering he's played for a good amount of time. But, honestly, this game, watched the game a little bit just to get some highlights for this show. And yeah, you could tell that Andy Murray was focused. It was a really nice 80-degree day. It wasn't too hot. And like I said, he was on. And that, you have to be. Considering that, again, the pressure at Wimbledon, arguably the best tennis tournament in the world. To have your whole country behind you is somewhat of a blessing, but it also can bring a lot of pressure. And Andy Murray could handle it. You could see that. You can see on his face that he was doing well. So again, very impressive for Andy Murray. We don't know what'll happen from here, but it looks like he's getting better. He can compete with the best. He can compete with a Djokovic. He can compete with a Federer. He can compete with a Nadal. So, I think, I don't know, the big three turning into the big four might be a stretch, but he's competitive. He's competitive. He will give it his all when they play the big ones, when he plays the big games. And again, congratulations to Andy Murray becoming the first British player to win at Wimbledon in 77 years. All right, moving on to the NBA. So, before we go into the Dwight Howard discussion, which, let's be honest, even if you're a Rockets fan and you're excited, just wait till he puts his name on the dotted line first before we all get excited. But first, we'll talk about the Celtics. Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Doc Rivers, all gone. Where does this leave the Celtics? Now, they went to the NBA draft. They got a couple of good draft picks. You know, Kelly Olynyk from Gonzaga, pretty good inside player, and some other good players. But they needed a coach. They didn't have a coach for the NBA draft. So, Brad Stevens, the head coach from Butler, is now the new head coach of the Boston Celtics. Hired last week, the 36-year-old Brad Stevens will be their next head coach. The deal is 6 years, $22 million. You understand that in a great organization like the Celtics, stuff like this does not leak out. I mean, when it comes to the Dwight Howard saga, you know, there's a reason why things are leaked out, because people want them leaked out. And within the Celtics organization, they are tight-lipped. They will not let this out. If Brad Stevens does not want this out, and especially Celtics management, they don't want this out. A lot of people did not hear about this till the day of, till a couple hours beforehand, that he was even in the running to be the next coach of the Celtics. Now, is this a great move? Personally, I think so, and here's why. Especially for Butler, for Brad Stevens' career. He has won something in 166 range, 166 wins. Yeah, 166 wins in 6 seasons. In 6 seasons at Butler, which is the most by a head coach to start out his career. And he did it at Butler. He didn't do it at Duke. He didn't do it at North Carolina. He didn't do it at UCLA or Indiana. He did it at Butler. A program that, I mean, they've had great head coaches. I mean, Thad Matta of Ohio State once coached there. They have a good coaching pedigree, but they've never gone to the point where Stevens has taken Butler to 2 back-to-back national championships in 2010, 2011, and done very well in the NCAA tournament. I mean, granted, they're one Gordon Hayward heave at the buzzer from half court away from having a national championship, which is arguably, if it goes in, the best moment in college basketball ever, bar none. You could take the play away from Duke in the 90s. If he makes that, that's the best play ever against Duke in for the national title. Yeah, but he didn't. But still, that brought a lot of excitement. It brought a lot of attention to Butler, and he seems like the perfect guy to be the next coach of the Boston Celtics, because they're in a rebuilding mode. You have Rajon Rondo, who, again, he's coming off an injury, and I don't know whether or not they're going to keep him. I mean, a lot of rumors are saying, hey, he should go to the Lakers because they lost Dwight Howard. But I think I think that Brad Stevens can handle an NBA locker room. He has proven success in the college level. I'm not saying it translates to the NBA level, because a lot of coaches have gone from college to the NBA and haven't done well. Mainly Rick Pitino, John Calipari. PJ Carlesimo's had a little bit of success. Mike Montgomery to Golden State. It's mostly failure. But when you know that you're in a rebuilding mode, you're going to get the time. And I think Danny Ainge knows that, the GM of the Boston Celtics. I think he knows that it's going to take some time. There's going to be some growing pains. especially this year. Again, with Rondo, I mean, they're not a terrible team, but they're no way going to get out of the East to get the NBA Finals. No way. So it should be interesting. Again, he's their first college coach hire since, like I said, Rick Pitino in '97, and first coach with no NBA experience of any kind since Alvin Doggy Julian gave way to Red Auerbach in 1950. Yeah. So they usually hire proven coaches. Again, it's the Boston Celtics. They have the most NBA championships ever. So, again, Butler with under Stevens has a .772 winning percentage at Butler and never won fewer than 22 games in a season. Now, it's different in college. I mean, it's different in the NBA. 82 games? It's a lot. What Brad Stevens needs to do right away is to establish himself as the guy, and he needs to tell his team, hey, I'm in charge. I'm not necessarily controlled by a Danny Ainge, and this is what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to run things. And I think if he gets along with Rondo early, and I think that's the most important part of this experiment, is whether or not Rondo buys into Stevens' system, because again, he's a franchise guy now. He is the man. With Ray Allen gone, KG gone, Paul Pierce gone, that just leaves Rondo. On any night he can get you a triple-double. He is that good. Before his knee injury, he was arguably in the discussion for top 5 point guards in the league. So I think the point is that he needs to buy in to Brad Stevens' system, because that'll allow the veterans to also buy in, and that'll also help the rookies along the first year, second year players in developing to become better players. Now, again, at 36, he'll be the youngest active coach in the NBA. He's the same age as Kevin Garnett almost. So it says a lot to the confidence that the Boston Celtics have in Brad Stevens. Whether or not this will work, it doesn't matter for Brad Stevens, because he has proven success in college. So let's say it doesn't work with the Boston Celtics. He has so many offers when he goes back to the college ranks, if he goes back, that it's not going to matter. This is pretty much not going to matter whether or not he is gone after a year, 2 years, 5 years. He has proven to win at the college level. And again, it doesn't matter what happens in the NBA. Like I said, Rick Pitino won a national championship last year, and he was with the Celtics. John Calipari was up here in the NBA. Now he's back in college, and arguably one of the best coaches ever. Or at least in the last 5 years. That's all I'm saying. Brad Stevens, it's an interesting hire. It's a splashy hire. You need to have your fan base believe that this guy can do great things. And I mean, he has a proven track record. So we'll see what happens from here. Now, moving on to free agency, the NBA. Dwight Howard saga. If anyone was following it on Twitter like me, it was a nightmare for about 3 hours. Because everyone said, oh, he's going to the Rockets. Oh, he's confirming he's going to the Rockets. And then you get sources saying, oh, he's 50-50 now. He just told the Lakers he's 50-50. And it honestly, if you were just on Twitter during those couple hours on Friday night, it was just unbelievable to watch. But push comes to shove, Dwight Howard will sign with the Houston Rockets on a 4-year deal, I believe $88 million. Yep, about $88 million. And a year less and far below the $118 million that the Lakers could have offered. Now, with this signing for Howard, do the Houston Rockets become a championship contender? I think so. And again, let me